It's got this article here on F1 Chronicle.com saying that Sergio Perez is saying the whole world judges you. Sounds like he's really feeling the pressure, and it's something that we've known about for some time, in fairness, because Sergio Perez his performances on the whole this season have not been good enough, and even when he's been up there recently, like in Baku, he made a mistake, some would argue. I mean, whether you blame him or you blame Sainz for that incident, the fact is that incident happened and Perez could have avoided it. That's undoubtable, he could have avoided it, and it also cost him a podium finish. What would have been his first podium finish, I think, since the Chinese Grand Prix so long ago, right at the start of the season. Yes, Red Bull's declining performance in terms of the car has not helped, but the difference between Perez and Max Verstappen around most rounds this season have been absolutely enormous, even more than you would expect from a driver that is, in truth, an out-and-out number 2 driver and a multiple world champion. You don't see these kinds of gaps between the likes of Hamilton and Russell, for example. You know, it just doesn't really compute. It should be a lot closer than it is, and it has been closer in the past. 2022, there was not that. I mean, there was a big gap between them, obviously, in the end, but Perez held his own a lot of the time, and in 21 as well. But let's have a look. So Sergio Perez is saying that his race seat at Red Bull could still be in danger. Before the team's overall performance slumped midway through 2024, the gap between Perez and Max Verstappen was so stark that Red Bull seriously considered dropping him with immediate effect. However, the Mexican survived in Formula One's August break, even though one well-known journalist claimed mere days ago that Perez could actually announce his retirement at his own Grand Prix in Mexico later this month. The 34-year-old driver hit back hard, replying to the journalist's tweet on X with a Wolf of Wall Street meme in which the actor declares, "I'm not leaving." However, also in the past few days, both Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko have reiterated that there is no guarantee that Perez's 2025-26 contract will actually play out. That's changed because they were saying, 25 is guaranteed, but 26 is not. Now apparently even 25 isn't. There is only one guarantee in Formula 1 if you're going to perform accordingly, Marko told Sport.de. We all know that Checo has fluctuations, the Austrian added. Especially when the car is changed at a short notice, he needs more time to adapt. Marko, 81, openly acknowledges that McLaren's driver lineup is better than Red Bull's. Honestly, I don't disagree at all. That is certainly a factor why in McLaren are stronger than us at the moment in terms of driver pairing, he said, referring to Perez. In terms of speed, he can do it. He just has fluctuations that are becoming more and more unpredictable. I mean, yeah, that's a good summary. I mean, he's clearly quick. He's had some incredible results over the years, but it's just too inconsistent right now. The car does not suit him at all. 1997 world champion Jacques Villeneuve believes it is often the case that Adrian Newey's designed Formula 1 cars only truly shine in the hands of a great driver. In my experience, Adrian Newey has always made a very precise car, he told Marca. This is not a car for everyone. He makes cars for exceptional drivers, while the average driver will suffer in them. The exceptional driver only has a narrow window to work within, but they do very well within that window. You know what? I actually agree with him. I can't believe I'm saying it, guys. It's a world first. I agree with Jacques Villeneuve. He knows what he's talking about, because he did used to race for Williams, who had Adrian Newey designed cars at that time. And I think he's absolutely right, because this is something that was touched upon during the Monaco Grand Prix, where Perez's form in 2024 was really taking a massive hit. And the fact that they were basically setting the car up on a knife edge that suited Verstappen just about, like he could tolerate it, but Perez just, he crashed out right at the start of the race, didn't he, after a really poor qualifying. Not that the crash was his fault, but the fact he was down there definitely was. So, interesting stuff. So with his personal driving struggles on top of a declining team performance, the internal turmoil and raging speculation about his future, Perez admits 2024 has been really hard so far. Imagine having a car with so many limitations that you start the weekend knowing that you can't do anything about it, he told DAZN. I thought I could crash at any moment because I had no control over the car. And then there's the pressure from the media that Red Bull brings you. Everyone, the people around you, the whole world judges you, believing you're not as good as you used to be, Perez added. This year has been exceptionally difficult. My teammate was winning, he was doing well, and every time I was having problems. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Perez. I mean, and I've said this, and I think Jacques Villeneuve has actually got a good point when it comes to this in all seriousness. Perez shined at Force India and Racing Point and Sauber as well before that, partly because there wasn't as much pressure on him, I think, and also partly because the car suited him better. this Red Bull from 2022 onwards has not suited him. 21, he did a good job in my opinion. You know, his first season at Red Bull, he made a mark. You know, he did a good job for Max Verstappen at times. You know, when he was called upon, most of the time he did all right. Now when he's called upon, he doesn't even bother picking up. He's sending you straight to voicemail, you know. And I just feel for the guy. I feel like he's really tarnishing his legacy because Perez, peak Perez. Remember Perez when he was in Sauber, making podiums out of absolutely nothing. He only won the Malaysian Grand Prix in 2012. He did put some storming drives on in that Force India and the Racing Point. He got his first win for Racing Point in, was it Sakhir? I think it was Sakhir. It was either Sakhir or Bahrain, same track. Slightly different layouts for those two races. So yeah, I feel for the guy. I feel like it's just not working out for him. But who do you replace him with? The guy who was meant to replace him potentially, Daniel Ricciardo, he's been axed. He's not going to come back. Why would he come back? So who's going to come in? I think it might be George Russell in 26, you know. Christian Horner has been openly courting George Russell in the media. We've already covered it on this channel. But what do you guys think? Is Perez just bad? Or is his car not suiting him? What's actually going on here? Is Villeneuve right about Adrian Newey in his cars? I think Villeneuve is more qualified to talk about Adrian Newey designed cars than we are, to be honest with you, because he's driven a few of them in the mid-90s. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for much more Formula 1 news, opinions and everything in between, do keep it tuned right here to the F1Chronicle.com.